At dawn on March 1, 1896, an Italian army moved through the mountains near Adwa, believing it could force Ethiopia into empire. But the maps were poor, the columns were scattered, and the army waiting above them was not a broken kingdom. It was Menelik's Ethiopia, armed, mobilized, and watching the roads. Within hours, Italy's colonial dream in the highlands would collapse in front of the world. The question is not simply how Ethiopia won. The question is how Italy walked into a defeat so complete that it became a humiliation. This is the Battle of Adwa, and it began with a treaty that tried to turn diplomacy into a chain. The Italy arrived late to the imperial race and wanted proof that it belonged beside Britain and France. On the Red Sea coast, Eritrea became the foothold. In the highlands beyond it stood Ethiopia, old, Christian, politically complex, and badly misunderstood by European planners. Italian diplomats had once helped Menelik with weapons, money, and recognition. They thought this influence could be converted into obedience. What they missed was that Menelik was using every alliance to build a stronger state. The supposed client was becoming a sovereign emperor. The road to humiliation began when Rome confused leverage with control. The trap sat inside Article 17 of the Treaty of Wycliffe. In the Amharic understanding, Ethiopia could use Italy for foreign diplomacy if it wished. In the Italian reading, Ethiopia had to use Italy, which made the empire a protectorate in European eyes. One verb shifted sovereignty from choice to command. Menelik rejected the disputed article in 1890. 3 years later, he rejected the treaty itself. Italy treated that refusal as an insult to imperial dignity. Ethiopia treated it as the line between diplomacy and submission. The Menelik's answer was not a single army marching from one capital. It was a coalition. Shawan forces, northern nobles, regional rulers, camp followers, priests, mule drivers, scouts, and women carrying the campaign's daily survival. Tetu Betul was not decoration beside the throne. She was a political force whose resistance to protectorate language sharpened the court's resolve. Menelik gathered rifles, supplies, and loyalty from a country Italy assumed would fracture. The mobilization was enormous, but it was also fragile. Every road had to feed men and animals in mountain country. Victory would depend on whether unity could move faster than hunger. Before Adwa, the campaign had already taught Italy a warning. At Mekelle, Ethiopian pressure turned water into a weapon. Tetu is remembered for helping force the Italian position by cutting off access to supplies that soldiers could not fight without. The lesson was simple and ruthless. Forts need wells, armies need food, and pride does not fill a canteen. For Menelik, time was also dangerous because his own vast army strained the countryside around it. Both sides were watching their provisions disappear. Neither side wanted to be the one that starved first. That pressure moved the battle closer. The Baratieri understood more than Rome wanted to hear. His men were short of food, water, clothing, working weapons, and reliable maps. He preferred to wait, because waiting might force Menelik's larger army to move first. Then a furious telegram from Crispy arrived from Rome. Retreat now looked like political disgrace. Baratieri met his generals and chose a night advance toward Adwa. On paper, it was an attack. In the mountains, it became a march into confusion. The Italian plan required separate columns to move through dark highland terrain and arrive where the map said they should be, but Adwa was not a flat parade ground. Ridges cut sightlines. Ravines swallowed direction. Orders moved slower than men. One brigade drifted away from support. Another found itself exposed before the rest could help. Before the first full shock of battle, the Italian army had already lost the shape of an army. When daylight came, the scale of Baratieri's mistake became visible. The Ethiopians were not a scattered crowd with antique weapons. They were a huge army with modern rifles, artillery, commanders who knew the terrain, and a coalition cause strong enough to hold together for the morning that mattered. Menelik had hidden strength in plain sight. Italy had counted on division and found concentration. It had counted on racial arrogance and found discipline. It had counted on the map and found the mountain. The battlefield now belonged to the army above them. The battle did not unfold as one clean line crashing into another. It broke into separated disasters. Italian units fought hard, but hard fighting could not repair distance, terrain, and broken coordination. Ethiopian forces struck isolated brigades before they could become a single front. Dabormida's men were driven into catastrophe. Other units were overwhelmed or forced back through brutal ground. By afternoon, retreat was no longer maneuver, it was survival. The word humiliation can make the battle sound like a joke. It was not. More than 6,000 soldiers under Italian command were killed, including Italian troops and Ascari serving in the colonial army. Thousands more were captured. Ethiopia also paid heavily, with more than 5,000 killed and thousands wounded. The humiliation was political. A European government had promised empire and delivered disaster. It was military. A professional colonial force had been surrounded, broken, and forced from the field, and it was psychological. Adwa proved the age of empire had limits. The defeat did not end at the battlefield. In October 1896, the Treaty of Addis Ababa abrogated Wycherley. Italy abandoned the claim that Ethiopia was its protectorate. The border with Eritrea would still need later treaties, and empire had not vanished from the region. But the central point was unmistakable. Ethiopia had forced a European state to recognize its independence after trying to deny it. Menelik gained credibility abroad and authority at home. The document that began as a chain ended as evidence of a chain broken. Adwa became more than a battle because it answered a global assumption. In the age of empire, Europe imagined conquest as destiny. Ethiopia made conquest fail in public. That is why paintings remembered Menelik, Tatu, soldiers, saints, flags, and enemies inside the same crowded frame. Memory turned the battle into a political language. For Ethiopians, it was sovereignty defended. For many black communities beyond Ethiopia, it was proof that the imperial story could be interrupted. The humiliation of Italy was not the final word. The survival of Ethiopian independence was.